Today on Friends from College, we're talking about sugar martinis, funerals, and Mountain Dew Code Red. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, AfterBuzzers. Welcome back to AfterBuzz TV. We are here doing Friends from College, Season 2, Episode 5 and 6. What a great song to start us off. Lots of energy. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini. Joining me,
I'm Courtney Allen.
And I'm Maddie Pocks. Happy to be back.
Yes, I'm happy to talk about episodes 5 and 6. Again, we have to preface that we have not seen episodes 7 and 8, our last two remaining episodes. We're going 2 episodes at a time, so no spoilers, please. But we're really excited to talk about this. Before we get into it, I just want to know your overall thoughts of these 2 episodes. Courtney, let's start with you.
Sam and Ethan, those naughty little kids, back at it again. Oh, gosh.
Yes.
Lots of breaking up, lots of reuniting. It's interesting to see all of this coming in full circle. There's a funeral, a lot happened. Yeah, it was overwhelming, but it was 2 good episodes. I really enjoyed it.
Absolutely. I mean, I laughed a lot, and what I like about episodes 5 and 6 is that there was a lot of different types of emotions, and we'll definitely cover it. But I was laughing here, I was angry here, I was like, what are you doing here? You know, like all these different, I had a whole spectrum of emotions. And we'll talk about episodes 5 and then a little bit about episode 6. So getting into it, let's start with Lisa and Charlie. Okay, so it starts pretty heated. Hot. Heated. Legitimately heated.
Red hot.
Because physically red hot. I mean,
it looks like he's on fire.
Coming back from the last episode, Lisa wants to get pregnant, and she's using Charlie to get pregnant. Do you agree with Charlie saying the whole discussion that, well, shouldn't we get married if we're trying to have kids? Do you agree with how Charlie was making that statement, and what were your thoughts of Charlie saying that and Lisa's reaction?
I honestly don't blame him at all, because as soon as he said, when I'm just a sperm donor to you, I'm like, that's exactly what it would feel like, and that's exactly kind of how she's treating him. So when he brought up the marriage thing, I feel like it just kind of validated that point for him, and you're just like, you can't help but feel bad for him because he is a nice guy, but Lisa's just so focused on getting what she wants, like she doesn't care, I guess.
Yeah, she's kind of like taking out her frustration of not having a child before on him, and he's kind of just testing her, I feel, to see if she's over her ex, Ethan. So he does have a point. In the beginning when they were fighting, I said, okay, well, he's being crazy. Why is he forcing her to just jump into marriage like this? Like, he should give her time. But then again, why are they going to have a kid? They're obviously not right for each other, so.
Or they're not ready for each other.
Yes.
To do such life decision things such as, having a kid. And granted, I understand where Lisa's coming from. She just signed her divorce papers last episode ago, so we can understand it was probably like 1 or 2 days in just the story time that they are in. But she just came out of a rocky relationship. She doesn't want to jump into an official marriage, and I understand, but I think Charlie makes a lot of great points. It's like, if we're going to start a family, we should make it official. Yeah. Granted, it is way too soon for both of them.
Yeah. Having a kid's not going to solve problems. It's going to make things more, well, not worse, but a little bit. It's more stressful. Having a kid is a huge deal.
I'm not even sure that they've even thought past that point. She's literally just like, baby, baby, baby. Like, that's the goal. And she's not concerned about much else. And that's very clear. And that's clear to Charlie now. So he can take that and do what he wants with it.
Right. And that's what she says, biological realities. Granted, she's young, but she is getting to the point where she has to start making babies now, because you don't know if her body would allow in the next 5 years. We don't know.
Yeah. She should freeze her eggs. Until she finds the right person who's ready, right?
I don't think she can afford to freeze her eggs. Right. She can't even. She's like bouncing around from people's houses.
They could hardly afford in vitro, let alone freezing eggs. I hear that, and I don't know the exact paying rate for freezing eggs, but those are also like $10,000+ per session. So it's a lot. I mean, depending on where you are, I'm sure the rate changes, but it's a lot of money even to do that, and I hear from other people, because I do live in LA and I know a few people who actually have done it, they say that freezing your eggs, the more ideal time to freeze your eggs is when you're in your like 20s. It's like, and also, who can afford freezing your eggs in your 20s?
Get on it then.
Unless
Yeah,
you're a trust fund kid or something.
Go freeze our eggs.
So, I think Lisa's just at the point where right now she has to do whatever she can to start a baby. And we know it's not for the right reasons. It's not for the best reasons. But what are your thoughts of her immediately calling Nick, though? They break up officially, but she calls Nick. The very first guy she calls, it's Nick.
Yeah, I understand why Charlie was mad when he saw him in the apartment moving her stuff out. She could have just hired like a mover guy or like had a girlfriend there, like Marianne. Sorry. Why did he have to come? So that just rubs it in his face, and I understand why Charlie got really mad. Nick, though, is like her go-to guy. She's always leaning on him, I think. And we'll get into it, but he's kind of leaning on her with a lot of things, too.
Courtney?
He's her safe place, and that's like very clear. And it's kind of just like that's what she did last season when she invited him on her work trip. Like that made her feel better, and she could have done anything else. She could have taken someone else, but she chose to take Nick, and I think that speaks volumes just for her and her decision making.
And I think they have a great friendship. We saw it all through season 1 that these two are friends. They confide in each other when they're having a crappy day or crappy week, whatever. They're the ones who vent to each other in that sense. So they had that relationship, and it did not surprise me whatsoever that she called Nick literally within the hour. Because, I like Nick, and I've always said I want them to end up together. So I'm a little biased. I want them together. But your thoughts of, so now moving, kind of blending into Nick and the whole Merrill situation. In episode 5, we see they're going to Merrill's grandmother's house for a family party. First of all, what were your thoughts of that party? And how Nick was behaving during this party?
The whole bellboy thing was so funny to me because I know Nick wanted to step in so bad because the man's like, I got it. And he's like obviously struggling. You're like, sir, let me help you, please. I was like, I just want to jump in the screen and help this poor man. But I think the way that Nick, I think at least he thought about it before he invited Lisa. I think he thought about it and he was like almost hoping that she wouldn't accept the invite, and then when she did, he was like, okay, like kind of want her to come anyway, so I'm just gonna bring her along for the ride and see what happens and put Merrill in an awkward position. I think that part is not fair for him to do that to her, but I feel like she kind of just knows that he's that person, but she's just sticking with him because she likes his personality or he makes her feel some type of way, like in a good way.
Yeah, I definitely know that feeling. It's not like I do it all the time, but when you invite someone like in passing and then they actually say, you don't think they're going to say yes, and they're actually like, oh yeah, like send me the address, and then you're in this awkward position and you don't want to tell your friend that you just invited someone else.
Right.
But it was bad for him because he's dating Merrill at the time. And I think, he's always going to have a soft spot for Lisa, and I think Merrill, during the end of it, kind of noticed that. But I think he blended well with her family. I think he really fit in because he can be classy and he was really funny. But in the end, when Lisa came, that's when he kind of was like, I don't know, I might.
He kind of reverted back to childlike tendencies.
Yeah.
Because like you saw at the beginning where he was sipping the martinis. He was kind of being classy and like assimilating towards what Merrill's family acts like. So you can see him. It's like, oh yeah, he kind of belongs there. But then add Lisa, which totally was out of place on his behalf because it's not even his place. It's the girls that he's dating, her place. And I'm like, first of all, you're in the wrong there. But then to add Lisa, again, just reverse back to that childlike behavior that he has between those two. Because they're fun. And they obviously don't fit within such a, I don't want to say boring, but they were just so...
Bougie.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. A very bougie type of party.
Yeah, I think he thinks he needs to end up with someone like Merrill. And even like Lisa said, she's like, oh, now you get what you want. You're going to end up with this sorority girl, or I forget the exact thing she said. But it was interesting to see him react to that. And he kind of just said, oh, is this actually what I want? And then Lisa's there, so he's like, you know what? I think that I actually want her.
Yeah.
And
Just so how easily he was to like flip over and be like, I'm gonna go break up with her right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like pretty immediate. Like,
Yeah. Well, we kind of knew that was they have feelings towards each other, and there were moments where Lisa was like, "I just want someone who really appreciates me, someone who really loves me." And then there was a lingering shot at Nick. I was like, "Well, yeah, of course he loves you." So like, there's two moments where they focus on Lisa's face and Nick's face of how they think about each other. I'm like, yeah, we see it. And then we see Nick immediately just go to Merrill like, look, let's kind of call it off.
Yeah.
Because we're not meant to be together in that way.
He was kind of reluctant, though. Like, he went into that kitchen and he was like, I think we should take some time. And she could have been all needy and, like, you know, attached back onto him and be like, oh, no, yeah, you're right. Okay, but we're still dating, which a lot of girls would do. But she just kind of said, I know you want to break up with me. It's like she knew. She knew.
you know what? Merrill is such a like grown woman that I think Nick did exactly what he did because he knew that if she sensed like that doubt, like she would be like, I don't have time for this. Like she literally said it, like, you're a teenage boy. Like
Yeah.
like and that was exactly what it was.
Yeah, and I mean, so sure enough, that kind of breaks things off with Merrill, but that leads Nick back to Lisa, and I'm okay with that. Do you like how quickly that turned around? Because they're like, we got to get out of here.
I thought it was funny. He could have explained, sort of like saying, oh, we got in a fight or something, like, let's go. He was just like, no, it's a family, I swear. So she's going to find out eventually what happened. I thought that was really funny, though, and it's clear their chemistry, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team Lisa and Nick. Woohoo.
Yeah. I like them together. Let's talk about another team that's still playing, Ethan and Sam. Friends again. Or are they? They seem a lot more in this episode. What are your thoughts?
They keep trying, but that coffee date and then obviously the kiss, and that escalated into them in the bathroom.
The dirty bathroom. First of all, ew.
I don't blame her.
gross.
Yeah,
He's
like, we can't touch anything in this room. I was like, no, I would not do it in the bathroom.
It was so funny. He's like, I'll sit on the toilet, you straddle me. I was like, God, I can't
So
watch
romantic
this.
for our first time, like as single people. This is how we're gonna remember it.
Funny.
And also the smallest coffee table. I was like, could they be more awkward together in a public space? I was like, that is the smallest coffee table where they had to physically be next to each other. But it shows that now they really don't care if they're seen together in public. I mean, they had some reservations, but like everything's out in the open. People know our history. People know us. Like, let's just keep doing things together and now officially call it official.
Yeah.
Do we like that?
At first, I didn't like it, obviously, because I love Lisa and I felt bad for her. But I think it's good for them. They're both really funny people together, and I think they have a lot of chemistry. But I do get why they're trying to keep it private a tiny bit, because maybe what's going to happen when Lisa finds out. I know that Sam's ex, he obviously in the next episode runs into them, but we'll get into more of that. I think that, they're just paranoid still about what people may think, but I do like them together. So
I don't think they're gonna work out for some reason. For some reason, I just think that I don't like in the therapy session when Sam brought up how she didn't want the thrill to be gone. I feel like I think that might happen. I think that the thrill will leave eventually. That's just what I think, but I could be wrong. They might get married and live happily ever after.
And I think that's what they enjoyed, because every time that they were hooking up, there were secrets involved. There were higher stakes to it, and that's what made it fun. It was the thrill of not knowing that it was forbidden, and now that it is. Now, I guess socially okay for them to be together. It just seems more calmer, relaxed. It doesn't seem as much jeopardy involved in it now that they're together. But making out in a very dirty bathroom, gross. I would not do that. But I mean, I do buy them together. I don't like how they started.
Yeah.
From season 1, had it not start with infidelity and like dishonesty, I would have been okay with it had it started more truthfully, just as a normal viewer. I don't like the way it started together. If they started fine, I would be for them, actually, because then, I can't deny the chemistry. I can't deny that they're actually fun together,
Yeah.
but they just started dishonestly, and I'm like, that's why I still have my reservations about it.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and a little bit now moving into Ethan and Max. This weird pitch meeting that so clearly Max did all the work. What are your thoughts of Ethan? Because he just got laid, so he's happy. He's not thinking about work in this sense. But Max doing all the work and Ethan getting all the credit. That's so not fair. So not fair, Courtney.
That's a problem sometimes when you work with your friends, though. Like, if it would have been a normal person, he would have been, not only would Max would have been able to approach Ethan the right way, but Ethan would have probably automatically given him the benefit of the doubt. But I think that also Ethan feels like he can walk all over Max, which he's proved that he kind of can. So Big Daddy Felix had to step in and do his thing.
Right.
Yeah. If Felix wasn't there, I wonder if he would ever say anything, because Ethan would maybe keep showering him with gifts. And I get it. I've worked with friends before, and it is hard because you don't want to start a fight. It's easier to just brush it under the rug and just joke about it. So I totally get that.
Yeah, I totally understand just the whole thought and the notion that where you work hard but not get proper credit or proper compensation for it, yeah, that's frustrating, especially for Max. He has a very well-to-do job. But if you go back to season 1, you think about it, he is the one who came up with the idea for young adult fiction, for the book title, for when they were getting high, the pizza night, and they were writing all the brainstorming ideas on that whiteboard. That was Max's idea, So there was a lot of things where you can tell moments where Max has done the work. And we haven't even read the book, Ethan's book. Apparently it's already out, but the only thing we know about the book is what what Sam was reiterating because she read the book. We've never heard anything about this book.
Yeah.
I wish I could read that book.
I know.
Because the way she talks
Curious.
about it, I'm like, this is so interesting. And Ethan sometimes he doesn't seem like he's too passionate about it. Sometimes I'm just iffy about how much in it he is. I don't buy it for some reason, but maybe it's because Max comes up with all the ideas.
Yeah, he kind of just, Ethan kind of just sits back in the meetings and lets Max talk, and it's like a joke to him. So he's like, he's always kind of relying on other people, I think, to do stuff for him, if that makes sense. So that comes out a lot with him and Max in the meeting.
Yeah, and it just makes me wonder, like, how did you ever become successful as a writer? Or like, do you
Max.
really have, yeah, exactly, or do you really have the true passion for writing, or are you really just doing it for a paycheck? I don't know. It just makes me question, like, all what Ethan has done in the past. He had a dishonest love relationship, and now he has a dishonest career.
Right.
I think you're right. Maybe he is just doing it for a paycheck. But they were still kind of always struggling, so I guess that's just like his thing. I gotta keep going, I gotta keep going, I gotta keep going. It doesn't matter how I do it or who comes up with the ideas. I'm just gonna keep going.
Right. And good on Felix for being that good fiance / future boyfriend, or not future husband to Max, because he really is looking out for the better of Max. And I love the line, transported to reality where you're fairly compensated.
Yeah.
Like, yes. Way to go,
so witty.
Felix.
Very witty.
And it came back to the whole Ray Donovan. It's like, do you watch Ray Donovan? This is what he does.
Yeah.
I am now the Ray Donovan in the situation. He's the fixer. And he did fix the situation, because we do see Ethan come back more in the second episode, not to jump ahead. But we do see a full circle moment where, now Ethan does want to, say, co-write this book with Max. Without the help of Felix,
Yeah.
Like, if Felix wasn't there, this would have never happened.
Yeah. Max owes Felix big time.
Does. He does.
Ethan's selfish. We already knew that, I guess.
Yeah, so anything else about this episode that you loved, or things we may or may not have missed? Sugar martinis. Nasty.
Ooh. I'm going
Nasty?
to try that.
Everybody,
I'm curious.
I know, I'm actually curious to see if it's actually good.
Sweet and low is the worst sweetener. I thought everybody knew that. So it's just like.
Yeah, it's like what old, no offense to older people, but isn't, that's why they're like, you know, they go to the grandma's house and they mention Sweet and Low. And then I think Nick's like, yeah, of course. Like, you don't see Splenda there. I think Sweet and Low is actually the common ingredient with elderly people.
Yeah, it's actually a fairly running joke. Sweet and Low comes with the older generation.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of a sugary martini in that sense. So I encourage all of you to go out and try it and let us know in the comments. And you know what you can also do for us on YouTube is subscribe to us.
Speaking of sugar, I loved the scene where Max and Felix are trying out their wedding cake, and then Felix spits out, he keeps spitting out the cake while they're trying it, and he's like, well, I don't know about you, but I have a wedding in a few weeks. I thought that was really funny. So he's like not even swalloing it, and Max is like, what's going on?
Like, he's just like gulping it all down.
I love that.
So let us know what you think in the comments on iTunes. Always rate and comment and subscribe to us there.
Yes. Hey guys, before we move on to our next topic, we just want to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV talk. For us to continue to grow, we could use your help. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to all of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. Don't forget to tell your friends and keep joining our shows. Thanks so much, guys.
Yes, thank you always for tuning in, and every once in a while we'll have guests like JC Park, who joined us last week, who plays Marianne. She was fantastic.
So great.
So sweet.
She had a big episode for episode 6, which we're going to get into. Admittedly, when I started episode 6, it started off so differently than how Friends from College usually starts off, and it was like this documentary, real life, following 3 guys who I really have never seen base jumping, and I actually I had to pause my Netflix. I was like, "Am I watching Friends from College?" Because I legitimately thought it was a different show. I'm like, you know how Netflix can just jump to another show. So, what were your thoughts of how the whole base jumping in Friends and Marianne's just like the getaway car?
Marianne's full of surprises. How did you even meet these people and get into this? But as soon as I saw her waiting in the car, I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense, because I remember seeing the jumper people in the previous episode. So
yeah, Tag and his friends.
Yes.
I love Marianne. I wish I don't have a friend like her, but I wish that I could. But you know the term ride or die, like girls that always stick by their man's side. Like I feel like that's her. So if I was a guy, I would want Marianne by my side.
She's an enigma. I really can't read Marianne. She has friends left and right of all different classes, sizes, personalities, and whatnot, and you still don't really know fully who Marianne is. She does so many different random things that makes her fun to follow because she's very unpredictable.
Yeah, I love that. She's definitely different. I feel like it almost is like she doesn't care about things and she's so chill, but then you see her so extreme with the jumping crew, and you're just like, where do you fit on the spectrum? Are you intense? Are you chill? Yeah, she's hilarious.
Yeah. What were your thoughts of, so rest in peace, Tag.
Oh
he dies. Bad experience of base jumping, and it's awful how they were actually witnessing the live feed of his spiraling down to his actual death. Oh, terrible. But the thoughts of the actual funeral and what went down and how it was streamed.
That was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. I didn't know where he was going with everything, and I think it definitely didn't help all the friends because they already thought they were making jokes about everything. So the fact that the guy got his friend got up there and spoke, I was like, this is not helping the situation.
You want to know why? No, why? Tell us why.
That was weird. Was it Mountain Dew Red or whatever?
Yeah.
What was that?
Mountain Dew Code Red. Sponsored product placement to the max.
Yes.
Really? This is the time to not do that right now. We can
At a
revisit
funeral. You're live streaming, and the Mountain Dew Code Red, like, legitimately advertisement is playing.
a mess.
So weird.
Yeah, and I think it just shows, Mountain Dew is for, like, athletes, for people who are, like, extreme sports and stuff. So it makes sense that it would kind of be sponsored by, like, Tag's funeral, but so just not the right place or time to do, to sponsor it in that way, or, like, at least get product placement. I think it just shows the eccentricity of Tag and his personality. We don't really know Tag a lot. We only saw him, like, here and there. But we know that he had a full life. He lived his life to the fullest in that sense.
Free spirit.
Yeah, he jumped for joy. Legitimately. And I think one of the best lines actually was Marianne said, God said, Tag, you're it. I laughed so hard.
So serious.
Harder than I probably should have, because the situation is kind of weird, unfortunate. But of course we see all the friends there, and they're just not behaving like as one should, like as normal. They're laughing too hard. They're like, we should not sit together. That's to be expected.
Yeah, and then after the boys are like dancing and stuff, it's like, that's a little inappropriate. Joking around with each other, but
They had no concept of where they were at all from the time they walked through the door.
No. But I mean, I can see that, because they would be awkward in that situation. They're there for Marianne. I don't feel like they're really there for Tag.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
it was a weird funeral, to say the least. Like, I've never seen a weirder funeral than that. Maybe on 6 Feet Under, but that's a whole different show. Let's get a little bit more into Ethan and Sam. We see them, from episode 5. They officially call it dating, that they're seeing each other. But now we see their significant others now dating other people, or like their exes, really. We see John dating Miss Chelsea teacher, the teacher. And what were your thoughts of how Sam reacted to that?
When she tripped, I was like, oh, girl. Oh, gosh. Poor baby. But it's hard to tell, because John, the way she reacted when she ran down the stairs after him, he was like, I thought I told you. We talked about this. Knowing good and well he did not say a single thing to her. And she's like, come on. Like, I don't know if that's his way of, getting revenge, or, just trying to get under her skin. But you're like, okay, I mean, she's going to have to deal with it. Mm-hmm. She made the bed.
Yeah, I'd be mad if it was my kid's teacher. But what can she say? She has to, give him the benefit of the doubt, because she's the one who cheated with one of her good friends.
Yep.
So she can't say anything. She was, fairly chill compared to someone else, I think, that would get in that situation. I guess because they were in a public place, they're at the school. But she's not allowed to care, I don't think. So she took it okay for now.
Okay, I mean, she had that knee-jerk reaction, as one would. But again, she really doesn't have a say, because she's the one who messed up. She's the one who made the mess, so to speak. But I think it's interesting, because maybe it just shows that she might still have feelings for John. Mm-hmm. But it seems like John is still not okay with Sam and Ethan being together, because when he did see Ethan in his own place making crepes, he had a heart attack / panic attack. I thought this was actually serious. I was like, what is happening here?
I feel so bad for him. I can't imagine that. Breaking up with someone, divorcing someone, coming back into your home that you lived with them and had children with them, and then you see the guy that destroyed your marriage pretty much in your kitchen. Well, he didn't see him right when he walked in, but obviously he walked into the other room and found him. So that's such a bad feeling. I feel really bad for him.
Right.
If I were him, I think I might have expected them to continue, because it wasn't like it was a random person. It was someone that she'd been friends with for so long, and I'm assuming he kind of found out their past and how long they'd been doing it. So maybe part of him kind of already knew that but he just didn't think he was going to catch it in action, and it was going to turn into that type of situation because that was a mess.
Yeah. John was so clearly, it seems like he was more clearly hurt emotionally in this whole breakup than Sam was, because Sam immediately moved on. She already had her man. But John, he's taking it hard. We're dating like Miss Chelsea, out of convenience, rebound, and then having a panic attack when he saw his ex-wife. You know, so he's obviously still hurt over all of this. Physically, it's showing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I do feel bad for him, but also the revenge things that he's doing, it's not cool in the way he's handling it.
Oh, he got it.
But-
He chose a younger, pretty, cute girl.
Yep.
It's like preppy, and she's like acted totally normal. Like it's just another day.
I'll see you later.
Bye.
Now it's like she didn't just cheat on him. It seems like now she's left him for, you know, this guy that she was seeing, or her old friend. So it makes it even worse. And now he's like 10 times more heartbroken, I bet. Because he's probably just like, oh, she's cheating and she was sorry. And now it's like, wow, you're literally dating him now. And you've left me basically for him. So that's a bad feeling.
Right.
I feel bad for him.
I agree. That's really sad.
Ethan and Sam are no longer loosey-goosey. They are officially together. With the help of Weird Allen, the roommate there, just like making it so uncomfortable and awkward for them that they had to actually make the decision. What are we? I don't know.
It's good he did that.
Yeah.
So now we all know.
Like, he did serve his purpose for the weirdest 2 minutes that he was on screen.
Yes, nosy little thing. He came out in his with no t. Did he have underwear on? I can't remember if he had
I think he
underwear.
had
I think he was
little
wearing
boxers.
boxers.
yeah. He's
But
like-
he was definitely shirtless.
I remember that part very clearly.
Yes.
Lisa's like, "Who are you? Who are you? Like,
Right.
you don't even know me."
Yeah. But for the 2 minutes he was there, he forced them to, like, actually decide, like, what are we? Loosey-goosey, loosey-goosey. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. Don't deny it. Yeah, so let's move a little bit more into Lisa and Nick on the flip side of Ethan and Sam. Lisa and Nick, we see Lisa now officially moving out. And do you agree with Charlie saying, you're a user?
No. I don't agree with him. He was overreacting. But what was with his dance? What? I don't understand. Is he like,
I'm cool. Sorry, that was not cool.
yeah, that was super weird but hilarious. I think he's just super heartbroken. He was so into her, and he tried to give her an ultimatum and thought that would work, and it didn't. And then obviously he sees Nick come in there, so he kind of lost his mind. He just, I don't know, he's a little crazy, I think, deep down. So I wasn't surprised that he did that, but he did overreact.
Yeah, Courtney.
I'm so glad he did do that. That was my favorite thing that I saw in both of the episodes. I think I rewinded it when I saw it because I was like, I gotta watch this again. This weirdo, like. But I think in a sense he's right. She kind of was using him. I don't think she's using Nick, but I'm sure that was a way to just take a hit at Nick because he was standing right there. He was like, "You clown." He was like, "This clown." I'm like, dang. But he's right.
Yeah.
Can't deny that.
He is right to a certain extent. I was like, I don't think the whole line where like you're a user, and it's like if you need to move, you hire this clown or whatever, like that. Obviously not right. But the whole idea that she did use him to be like basically a sperm donor in that sense, I was like, yeah, there is some truth to what he said. Maybe for not the best reasons, but I was like, there is truth there. But that dance, I feel so bad for him because he's still trying to gain her affection, and that's the problem. Like, you know, she's not reciprocating that, and he still wants her to the point that he's dancing like a fool to prove that he's the better guy.
Yeah. I think when you break up with someone and you just are calling each other names, you don't really mean it, and you're trying to just get a reaction out of someone. So he just wants her to feel bad and be like, you know what? Maybe I am a user, and I want you back, and I'll make it good. But she just kind of walks out of there. So
They were staring at him like, have you lost your mind? That was funny too. Their reactions to it was just like, okay.
Yeah. So goodbye, Charlie. goodbye Merrill in both of these episodes. We knew they weren't going to last long,
Yeah.
these relationships. They're just like the immediate rebounds that go nowhere. I feel bad for Merrill and Charlie, because like they were likable people.
Yeah.
If you think about it, it's like they were actually fairly sane, likable people. But
I feel like they'll be back in one way or another.
Meryl's gonna go find herself a man.
yeah,
Charlie?
maybe.
You never
I
know.
mean, they might actually be good together. But yeah, so Lisa now moves in with Nick. Did you expect problems from the get-go? Do you think this was a good idea?
No, but he's a little, I mean, he obviously has such strong feelings with her, but he's also still kind of a playboy. So there's going to be some conflict, I think. Either he's like bringing girls back or I don't know. And then it's too soon for her to move on to him, I think. So there was going to be some sort of conflict with them.
Is it too soon, though? Because we see Ethan and Sam together. And they've been...
I guess so.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just how like Merrill and Charlie were in the mix. I feel like it makes it too soon because there's two other people involved.
Right.
But some people are good with moving on right away, and I think that Lisa's always in a rush to get over Ethan, right? So.
Yeah, distract
Yes.
herself. But Nick's not a bad person to distract herself with. But that hug, that goodnight hug, I was like, the sexual tension right now is like making me hot. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, I have them in my notes, all caps, lingering hug.
Like,
you know that's not good, especially between two people who have as much sexual tension between those two as much as they do.
Yeah, a lot of tension, but he stuck away and had to release it in the middle of the night, which was so awkward. And she walked in on that. Oh my God. So embarrassing for him. I don't even know what to think of that scene.
I'm proud of him for not. I thought he was going to go sneak in the bed with her. That's what I thought he was going
thought so
upstairs
too,
for.
right.
So I was like, okay, good for you. Go to the bathroom and handle your business because you didn't get what you wanted.
Right? No, I thought that he was going to go into the bedroom because it's a darker room. Let me just fall asleep in my own bed and cuddle up next to you. It wouldn't be the first night that we were together.
Yep.
You know?
So maybe he's a gentleman, sort of, for not climbing into bed with her that night.
It's
I don't
true.
know.
That's true. But he did get caught.
Yes.
Unfortunately. And I did like how Lisa handled it, though.
Yeah.
It's like, we're best friends. Like, I've seen your business, you've seen mine. It's like, we can work this out and not make anything awkward.
Yeah.
I think he was making it more awkward because, obviously, he was in this situation. He was the one who was walked in on.
I love you.
No, I love
Just
you.
kidding.
But I don't think he's kidding.
I know.
I was like, I think he really does.
He really loves her.
It's just super awkward because he said he's kidding, but she knows he's not. He knows he's not. But it's like that's a hard thing to sweep under the rug.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm moving out. 'Cause I don't know what else to do with that.
Do you think she's actually going to move out or not? I think she's going to stay. Maybe.
Yeah, I think she'll stay.
You do?
Yeah. Until something else weird happens, at least. Who knows?
You call it done.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna move out, but I guess we'll see.
I don't know. She says she's going to move out and she's doing like Airbnb now, but all of her stuff is still there.
That's true.
Yeah. You can
It's
cancel
an
an Airbnb.
excuse to come back
Yeah,
for a night.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's a nice, comfy bed waiting for them, just saying. All right. Anything else about this episode 6 that you liked? Or things that we may have missed? I really did actually enjoy this episode. Like, again, a lot of different emotions. We had funny and awkward here. Funeral was very awkward, but and a lot of sweet moments too.
You know what? Another part that I did rewind was the part where they were watching tag right after he died. And Nick was like stuffing his mouth, and she was like, "You're still eating? Like, what? How are you still eating right now?" She had to bring it up several times. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, this is not a movie.
Right.
I was like, that was funny to me.
Yeah, right. Well, watching someone's death is like, what do you do in that situation? Like, you're witnessing something horrible.
Yeah, can we also talk about how Max asked Marianne to officiate their wedding?
Yes.
And then Ethan's like, she'll forget about that in a second. Like, no, she will not. It's Marianne.
You're right.
So we'll see if that actually happens.
Yeah, if that comes to fruition.
Can't take that away from her.
Yeah.
I feel like she's too excited.
Yeah, she's not going to forget that.
No. I feel like this takes us to predictions then, because we have episodes 7 and 8.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so I'll let you go, but I do have to say that I think my prediction of Lisa and Nick is starting to come to a head. It's starting. You see it.
Yeah.
So, all right, Courtney,
You're so
go
happy.
for it. I know, I am. I really am.
You're like, yay. I was just thinking that maybe Lisa might randomly get pregnant now that her and Charlie broke up, and they had that from that one time where at the very opening scene of episode 5, she might get pregnant from that. That's my prediction.
Yeah.
Or the 6 times.
I agree with that. I thought that she would have gotten pregnant when she had sex with Ethan in that storage closet. I was like, that's going to be the drama. But I think she's going to have a miracle with Nick or something, and they'll do it, and then all of a sudden she'll be pregnant. And it's kind of, the future is just in front of her with Nick, I guess, and she'll be like, okay, I'm just going to stay with him. And I feel like Ethan and Sam are going to move in together or something like that. They're going to take the next step and try and be a real couple.
Maybe she'll get pregnant, and then she won't know if it's Charlie's baby or Nick's baby.
Yes.
If her and Nick make it to that point quickly.
There's that love triangle that we all love.
Another one.
Yeah, I totally see that. That's okay. We'll see.
I don't know. Just throwing that out there, maybe.
Yeah.
Drama.
It'd be interesting because, again, with the biological realities, we don't know if it was her, if she actually physically can't conceive. So we don't know. We've seen all these times where they've had unprotected sex, and yet she hasn't been infected. So
Right. You never know. There's always a
I
chance.
just have to think about that. Maybe with Nick they have a chance. Mm-hmm. But who knows? I'm happy that Nick and Lisa are starting something. Ethan and Sam, at least they're being mature about it, you know. And I completely do agree that Ethan's gonna move in with Sam. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that coming. But I think if we get to a wedding episode, which I imagine I haven't, again we haven't seen the last 2 episodes, but when it comes to the wedding and Marianne officiating, it's gonna be crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's just gonna be the craziest wedding between all of them.
That's gonna be a good episode.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about it with you ladies. In the meantime, where can everyone keep following you?
You can find me on Instagram at Courtney Ray Allen.
And I'm on Instagram as well at Maddie Pocks. Thanks guys so much. See you next time.
Great. And you can follow me at Serafini TV. You can follow all of us here, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. Keep rating, keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep watching Friends from College. We have the last 2 episodes to cover. We will see you next time.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.